He is the author of not one, but two books. I'm pleased to be joined by our good friend, Don Galade. You may know him as the CEO of GFS Financial, but he is also the author of two new books. The first one, In God We Trust, The Dollar We Worship. That's the name of the first book that's already been released. And the second one coming out now is 5 Steps, Your Guide to Financial Health. Don, thanks so much for joining us. How did these two books come about? Tell us what they're all about.
Okay, thanks for having me. First of all, the In God We Trust, The Dollar We Worship was a biblical approach to what does God say about our money. The second book, 5 Steps, Your Guide to Financial Health, that is pretty much everything that is non-biblical. That, if somebody says, hey, I need advice, I'm going to retire, and maybe they don't have a financial advisor, or they're trying to figure out who they should use as a financial advisor. So this has some really good self-help tips on how to qualify the person you want to do business with as a financial advisor, what questions to ask them, and how to pick the right one.
And this all falls into place too, because we know you from the Voice of John. You're involved with that. You're a producer of Christian media. So this all comes together nicely for you to put your financial hat on and also the Christian hat on as well, because you're trying to get everybody to see that there is a connection.
God cares about everything we do, and especially our money. So the first book is takes care of what you're supposed to do in your relationship with God. The second book is what you're supposed to do with your relationship with your financial advisor and your finances. What's an IRA? What's a mutual fund? How does this work? How do these things work? And it's kind of like a real basic 101 course in finance, things that you should know before you start talking to somebody who starts telling you these are the things you have or should have.
What happened that these books now took off? Were you surprised? Did you expect this to happen? Where are they at right now? Because you're doing quite well with them.
I hired an actual publishing company that took the reins, and they did. I don't know how they do that. It's above my pay grade, but whatever they did, we hit international levels, international best-selling levels in multiple countries, in multiple genres. There's Christian help, there's a bestseller in financial services. There's all these different categories and subcategories on Amazon, and I don't know, there's like 23 of them that they told me that we were on. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. If they went to inthedollarweworship.com, there's a link to both books. And they are actually cheaper now because they're going to boost the price once all this promotion is done. So the books are cheaper now. Next week, they're going to probably be more. So now's the time to get them.
Now, I must admit, I read the article in the Standard Speaker, and it said how you came about to writing this. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So can you give us a brief synopsis on how you even decided to write and combine this all together?
More than 10 years ago, I guess, my wife was on a missions trip to Africa, and we were homeschooling our kids while she was homeschooling them. I was playing Mr. Mom, and I was scrolling through the channels, and every single channel I landed on was some Bible guy talking about money, and it would happen like 10 times in a row. And I was like, oh, this is what I do all day long. I don't want to do it now. And long story short, I felt the Holy Spirit saying, you should write a book. I laughed. I opened up the laptop, started typing, and there it is.
This is an interesting mix to put together. And, people might need advice on, both aspects of this,
Sure.
And I mean, that is a thought, because you wonder, does God want me to have money? Am I supposed to be wealthy? Am I supposed to be poor? What am I supposed to be? So this kind of blends that.
He wants us to be successful in that we can pay our bills. He wants us to take care of the poor, and we can't take care of the poor unless we have money. The love of money is the issue, okay? Because people always say all the time that money is the root, but it's actually the love of money. So it's a little bit different. And it's kind of neat when you start digging into it. It started off as just something fun, and then it just turned into something awesome.
We want everybody to know, again, In God We Trust, The Dollar We Worship, the first book, and the second book, 5 Steps, Your Guide to Financial Health, both authored by the one and only Don Galade. Thanks so much for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
Nothing but success with the books, and come back and talk to us again.
We shall. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. Remember, in an emergency, our emergency room is the safest place to be.